So I've been getting my numbers of viewers for each podcast episode as it comes in. And I keep going back and forth between one part of me is like, whoa, this is fucking insane that this many people are listening to me. But then there's another part of me that's like, am I ruining society? There's a pressure of like, fuck, you guys have 30, 45 minutes, an hour of free time in your day. And you say, you know what, I'm going to turn to CHRISTINA. And that makes me A, concerned about all of your well-being. B, like, am I fucking up your lives? Because then I get messages of like, I left my toxic partner because of you. And I'm like, that's amazing. But also like, how many bad decisions have I encouraged you guys to make as somebody that is in no position to give any advice? So I'm constantly like, one of the questions, I do little prompts on Instagram and someone was like, how do you deal with imposter syndrome? I don't. I just embrace that I am an imposter. And just one day I wake up and I go, oh my God, I am giving people advice and they're taking it. That is a crazy role that I've like, who gave me this fucking role? Anyway. Okay. So this past weekend was the weekend of Friends. I saw all of my friends. I feel like the weekend, and I'm sure a lot of you relate to this. Again, one of my goals this year is to try to have better balance because I just go like fucking balls to the wall with one thing in my life and then everything else just crumbles. So I'm trying to have more balance. So this weekend I saw a lot of my friends. I work through, like anytime someone's like, you want to get together on Wednesday? No, I can't. Like my Monday through Friday for the most part is totally dedicated to work, which I hate. I used to be like, let's go to dinner on a Wednesday, and now I'm fucking lame because I'm like, I'd rather get it done during the week so that I have my weekends. But as you get older, how you delegate your weekends becomes really fucking lame. Like before it was, oh, let me get my work done during the week so that on the weekend I can go out and be a functioning human and like work hard, play hard. Now it's like, oh, let me get my work done during the week so that I can do my laundry this weekend and fucking water my plants and hang out with my dogs. So every weekend I feel this pressure of like, okay, well, I need to see all my friends. I need to see my boyfriend. I live with him and I don't see him. I want to spend time with my dogs. I want to work out. I want to catch up on laundry and house stuff. And then boom, it's fucking Monday and I'm back in the grind. So anyway, this weekend I see all my friends. I saw my friend Alex on Friday. On Saturday, my friend Ashley, who I've been friends with since college, she was visiting from Maine. I actually officiated her wedding several years ago and I fucking crushed it. I will say, if you're in the business of wanting to be a stand-up comic, go officiate somebody's wedding. Like, I don't like, not even somebody that you know. It honestly, I was selfish. I just used the wedding as an excuse to practice my stand-up and just like gauge, okay, if I were to do this, how many people would audibly laugh? And people fucking audibly laughed. I mean, it was a great experience. If anybody needs me to officiate their wedding, I am here for you because it was honestly the best time ever. So anyway, she comes here and listen, I am not engaged. I'm not planning a wedding. I am nowhere near getting married. But I feel like recently, every single person that I've chatted with that has gotten married, like they feel some role, like they feel some responsibility to herd all of the single or non-married people together and be like, don't plan a wedding. I feel like that's been happening to me. Like, don't do it. So she was like, yeah, I haven't seen her since I officiated her wedding. So that's kind of our last benchmark for us catching up. So she was like, dude, don't fucking plan a wedding. She was like, are you planning a wedding? I go, no. She goes, okay, don't plan a wedding. She's like, listen, there's this whole lie that, oh, a wedding is supposed to be about a bride. She said, that's fucking bullshit. The wedding is about everybody besides the bride. You spend countless hours, months, days, money, time planning something that you don't even get to enjoy. She goes, I didn't eat my fucking food. I didn't try my fucking cake. I blinked and it was over. And I'm like, you know what? As somebody that has no say in this space, I fear as though weddings were overdue for a rebrand. I feel like more times than not, don't get me wrong, weddings can be beautiful. They're very special. It's whatever the fuck. They can be cheugy. They can be really cheugy. All right. Like Everybody feels like they need to check all these boxes. Everybody's spending more money than they want to spend. More times than not, your guests don't even want to fucking be there because you made them spend $10,000 on flights and $5,000 on the dress and the gift and no one's spending that much money, but you get my point, right? It's just like, oh my God. So I feel like the wedding industry is due for a reboot. It's about time. Like this is just like a fucking old tradition. And I've seen some beautiful weddings. I've seen some things that are like, ooh, that's fun, not super traditional. But I feel like as a collective, the whole fucking industry needs a reboot. So this is my pitch for you. Here's the thing. I'm tired of setting trends. I'm exhausted. I'm so tired of being influential and being the ones to set trends. Like I want to relax. So what I'm hoping is that this is my advice. I give it to you guys. One of you who is brave enough takes the lead here and sets this as the new precedent, and then all of us will follow. So I think birthdays and weddings should be swapped. Birthdays, people plan it for you, right? Bitch, I've been on this earth for 32 years. For 32 years, people no, it's my responsibility. Let me plan my birthday is not about, my birthday is thank you to everybody for still fucking being in my life after 32 years, after being a terrible person for 32 years. Thank you guys for your service. My birthday is not about me. My birthday is about the people that continue to be there for me, even though I'm a piece of shit. So why are people planning my birthday every fucking year? We're doing this every fucking year until I die. So we need to swap them. Birthdays, you fucking plan your birthday. You want to take your friends out to dinner? You want to go to fucking Chuck E. Cheese or Cheesecake Factory? I don't care what your budget is. You fucking plan it. Weddings, now we're talking. We swap it. I want all my friends to plan my wedding. They pick the location. I don't care how they do it. They can raise money doing car washes. I don't care. It doesn't have to be high end. It can be backyard vibes. Okay. My friends plan my wedding and then everybody brings a snack. Like it's like a potluck. Like, oh, I'm going to bring the Chick-fil-A party platter and like, oh, I'm going to bring whatever fucking pumpkin pie Cheryl made. Everybody brings a different dish. And then I show up having planned fucking nothing. And then I enjoy it 10 times more because it's a surprise. And it's just, that's a fucking wedding. So, and then when I said that, Ashley was like, so you want to throw a sleepover? Yes. That's what I want for my wedding. I don't want to plan a fucking thing. And then people are like, oh, get a wedding planner. No, because they're not going to fucking plan it either. And I am a micromanager. If I have any details, I'll just be like, honestly, bitch, just give me the fucking notebook and I'll take care of it. So at least if I can be completely out of the equation, I don't want to know anything. I don't know where it's going to be. I don't want to know what we're eating. You fucking deal with it. I show up. I say I do. I party my ass off. So that's my pitch. Somebody fucking run with it. I also realized, so I hung out with a lot of millennials this weekend, actually all millennials. And I love my Gen Zers. I feel a deep connection to my Gen Zers, mainly because I'm on TikTok and I have to speak their language and they're so interesting. It's like being in the wild and like watching a cheetah. Sometimes I just watch them do things and I'm like, they're so fascinating to me, you know? So I love my Gen Zers. They keep me young. But whenever I start spending a lot of time in a short period of time with a lot of millennials, I start noticing millennial characteristics, whether I do it, whether they do it. I'm very aware of it because I have that Gen Z thing now where I'm like, oh, cheugy, you know what I mean? Like everything is cheugy. So I have this really good millennial radar. What I learned this weekend, because again, I hung out with 3 millennials. Like these are fucking, you look up millennial in Urban Dictionary, you will see one of these 3 faces. I hang out with 3 of them. Millennials have something we all have in common is we have very, very dark humor. Like very dark humor. Borderline toxic dark humor. And I attribute to that, listen, we were never taught how to deal with emotions, or at least maybe like I'm from the East Coast, it's fucking cold. We got Italian people, we got Irish people. Growing up, if you were like, hey, I'm sad, someone would be like, okay, bitch, be fucking happy. You know, nowadays, if a kid's like, hey, I'm sad, they're like, okay, how does that make you feel? Go to therapy, talk about it, journal, touch grass, you know, like healthy things. Back in the day, you didn't feel sad, just be happy. You know what I mean? Like, that's okay, like go to sleep and wake up, tomorrow's a new day. So we make a lot of really, really bad jokes. And one thing that we do is we all collectively joke about offing ourselves. That's not funny. I know that. I know that is not That's not, it's triggering. It's not funny. But from the millennial mindset, we all do it. And maybe we don't do it in front of you Gen Zers because we don't want to get canceled. But when all of us millennials get together, one of us will make a joke about like, fucking shoot me, kill me. You know what I mean? Like, again, not funny. I am not saying it is correct. I'm just saying it is. So I developed eczema, which we'll talk about in a little bit. I love the 30s. I swear to God, I fucking love the 30s. But I'm only 2 years in, so I got more of this to go. But ever since I turned 30, I've developed all of these ailments. Literally, my 30th fucking birthday, for my birthday, I got myself a 23andMe test. This was pre the data leak. This was pre CHRISTINA clones running around. I get myself a 23andMe, and it says on it, it's like, you're 65% more likely to have bunions. Like, that's fucking random. No joke. I woke up on my 30th birthday with 2 bunions. I go, okay, great. So I've just been having random fucking ailments. Now I have eczema. Okay. It's like all over my hands. I can't even wear my rings. My fingers are swollen. I was so irritable this weekend because I was just fucking itchy, and some other stuff was going on, and Ashley was about to call her Uber. And I said, I'm going to go take a shower. You know, I don't even know if I can get there right now, but if you hear a thud, just let me flatline for a second. Just let me just try it on. You know, let me just try on the flatline for like 2 minutes. Let me just bottom out, and then I'll come back to life. And just to be like, okay, I saw it. You know, I made several of those jokes, and Ashley on her way out was like, okay, 2 times is a joke, 3 times is a call for help. And then I was like, wow, we all do that. We really have dark humor. So I have eczema now. I diagnosed myself. I have eczema. I did the research. I have eczema. I need to clean my gut. It's a bajillion other things. I have high histamine, yada, yada, yada. I know. I did the research. Okay. What fucking pisses me off about, God, just the fucking medical industry. I mean, so many things. But let me paint this for you. So I have these like little white polka dots on my body that I've gone to a bajillion dermatologists for. Somebody was like, oh, it's the yeast levels. Somebody's like, no, it's that thing where you have to put shampoo on your body. Everyone was fucking wrong, by the way. I go on a Kiehl's brand trip with a dermatologist. He looks at them for 2 seconds. He goes, yeah, those are beer spots, BIER. I go, what? I've spent so much money. Not one person has ever said that you looked at them for 2 seconds. He goes, yeah, they're beer spots. Sometimes it's benign. It's about the circulation in your body, bad circulation, which I'm like, yeah, fucking add it to the list, bitch. He's like, or it's an autoimmune disorder, which that term has been tossed around a little bit in my life because I struggle with putting on weight. I've dealt with hair loss, just a lot of things that typically fall under autoimmune. Okay. So he's like, you need to go do an autoimmune panel. So I go to my doctor. I'm like, I need a blood panel. I get a blood panel. I'm like, hey, can I get an autoimmune panel? She's like, oh, well, that's extra. Of course, that one is like hundreds of more dollars. I go get this autoimmune panel. In my mind, I'm like, oh, if something's bad, the bitch will give me a call. I go on a trip. I think I was in Paris, Mexico. I don't fucking know where I was. I kind of forgot about it because in my mind, I'm like, no news is good news, right? If I was dying, she'd call me and be like, hey, you're dying. So I don't hear anything. I go, bet, I'm fucking good. Come back. It's like 5 or 6 days since the results were in. Nobody fucking calls me. I go, you know what? I'm going to go on my chart. There's like a little my chart thing where you log in. I never know my fucking password. I got to do forget password every time I log in, change it to the same 4 passwords I use. Like, that's why I never use it. I never know my password. I log in. I open my blood thing. I'm like, oh, normal, abnormal. One comes up abnormal, not just a little abnormal. My number was supposed to be like 50. It was 0. It was 0. I go, hold on a second. I fear as though somebody should have maybe called me. And then I'm like, okay, I can't read any of this because it's in essentially another fucking language. I go to what this could mean, and it's like autoimmune, lupus, heart failure, heart disease, cancer. I go, you gotta be fucking my ass right now. I call the doctor. I go, hey, hi, hello. Do you guys got my autoimmune results? Oh, yeah. So one of your labs came back abnormal. Yeah, no, I'm seeing that. Thank you so much for the courtesy call. Oh, what do I do? Well, the doctor sent you a referral for an autoimmune rheumatologist. I think it's a rheumatologist. I think she sent you a referral for a rheumatologist. You can go see the rheumatologist, or sometimes you get false negatives, whatever the fuck. You can wait 3 months to retest. Which one is it? Is this an emergency? Should I go see a rheumatologist? Should I wait? It's up to you. Whatever. You can see a rheumatologist and see, or you can wait 3 months. I go, give me a benchmark here. It's like when I watch the fucking Olympics, I watch someone really good at swimming. I'm like, yeah, they're really good at swimming. I can't understand how good they are at swimming unless you throw someone in the pool that can't fucking swim. So now I'm like, what am I judging this off of? You're a fucking doctor, okay? Your level of medical knowledge versus mine, vastly different. I go, okay, well, what should I look out for? Well, are you having any rashes? Bitch, I've had rash, like my whole life I've had rashes, okay? Something about me, I am never chill. Like stressed, rash. Touch a towel, rash. I just get mad for a second, rash. Like I am always having itchy spots. Yes, probably. I'm probably having a rash. Lo and behold, now I developed eczema. So I call the rheumatologist. Hey, might be dying. Can I make an appointment? Oh yeah, our soonest appointment is fucking 3 months from now. Of course it is. Of course it's 3 months from now. Why am I spending as much money as I'm spending in health insurance? I can't even fucking get, okay, great. I'll see you in 3 months. My body did me a solid because I start developing eczema right when my 3-month appointment is coming up. So I'm seeing this doctor in like a week. Anyway, that's the ailment. The other fucking issue I have with all of this, oh God, people are just piss me the fuck off. I went to this same doctor after my stint of, I was traveling literally like every fucking week for months. And then I wondered why I was sick every fucking day. I go into the doctor. I go, listen, I'm getting the flu literally every time I travel. I can't breathe. I got boogers hanging out. People think I'm on cocaine because I'm rubbing my nose every 5 seconds. Fix me. She's like, oh, well, because you travel so much and you're on airplanes, you've developed some kind of nasal, whatever the fuck. So basically now my sinuses are shot because I travel so much. She's like, no problem. I'm just going to recommend that you do your little Flonase every time you travel. You take your Zyrtec and you do a neti pot. Great. Neti pot. She goes, honestly, I use my neti pot almost every day. Awesome. Perfect. Now, as somebody who uses it almost every single day, you think that she would give me any valid information that would be important to know? She does not. She just gives me zilch. Yeah, you can go get it at CVS. Go to CVS. Neti pot, I swear to God, the packaging looks like they made this shit in the 1800s. Like it's literally just a blue vase with text all around the box. I swear to God, the fucking instructions, it's like the Old Testament. It's like 500 pages of just text and then like random photos of doctors, like, weird. So me being insufferable, I'm like, oh, I have an idea. For the first time I use my neti pot, I'm going to do it on TikTok. I'm going to make a video, live reaction, real time. I set up my phone. I start opening the neti pot, instructions. I take out the neti pot. I take out the instructions. Everybody knows I don't read them. I go, oh, won't be needing this. Throw the instructions out the window. Okay. I pour the water in. I pour the salt. I start doing the neti pot. In the video, I'm like, oh my God, this hurts so bad. I'm having a fucking headache. Ow, 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 ow. Okay. Post the video. It's pretty fucking hilarious. I get some mucus out. All great. Put my phone away. Go take a shower. I disappear for like an hour or two. Open my phone to hundreds of comments from doctors. Number one, hey, Christina, your brain hurts because you used cold water. You can't be flushing out your brain with cold water. That's why you have a headache. You have a brain freeze. Okay. Then hundreds of comments, like in all caps locks, Christina, you can't use tap water. You're going to get a brain-eating amoeba. You have to use reverse osmosis or distilled water. Didn't you read? No, I didn't fucking read. What? Now, mind you, this was shortly after the LA fires. I know our tap water was not good. They're like, didn't you hear about that woman who did, that lady who died, that kid in Mexico, that... I go, no, I didn't, because I don't watch the fucking news because I'm really trying not to off myself every day. What? So now I am spiraling. I'm calling my mom. I'm like researching things, and everything I'm researching is like, yeah, the number one rule of the neti pot is you cannot use tap water because you can get a brain-eating amoeba. I'm reading actual stories of people who have died from a brain-eating amoeba where basically it's in your brain. And I'm like, okay, well, if I knew, I would probably know immediately, right? It's like, nope, symptoms can start 10 to 14 days after. So for 10 to 14 days, I'm essentially telling everybody my goodbyes. I'm like, I'm out. I definitely, every morning I swear I could feel a new ailment. I'm like, oh, I got a headache today. My temple's protruding out of my head. Things felt weird. What pisses me the fuck off is when you write an instructions for anything, if I were to read, hey, use reverse osmosis or distilled water, I'd say you're a fucking loser. No, that is some cash grab way because you probably own the distilled water and you want to make an extra buck, or you're just trying to be a douche. Like, I would have been like, that's pretentious. I'm not using what the fuck is reverse osmosis water? Why not say, hey, use distilled or reverse osmosis water to avoid a brain-eating amoeba that you can get from tap water, right? Common sense to me. No, nowhere to be found. Fucking pissed me off. Anyway, that was an unnecessary rant. Okay, well, I have actually so much that I want to talk about. I get it, I can't. Also, I'm watching the Traitors, and it's very triggering because the Traitors is basically the internet. It's just 2025. If you don't know what the Traitors is, essentially all of these fuckbags go in a house, and some are traitors and some are loyal. What is it? Loyal? They're traitors or faithfuls. Traitors or faithfuls. Okay. And we, as the viewer, know who is who, but inside they don't. And they basically just have to lie to each other's face and convince each other that they're a faithful. And then they do a round table where they all speak their piece about who they think is a traitor and who they think is a faithful. And then they go around the room based on all that information, and they write on a chalkboard what the name should be. And then majority rules. Even if you are a faithful, if you get voted out, you get voted out. It is so fucking insane because somebody will just make a case for a random person that you would never think of and just throw someone's hat in the ring. And then everybody will vote for that person, and that person will end up being a faithful. And it's so triggering because that is exactly what the internet is like. Like, somebody just decides, hey, let's just, you know what, this week, let's fucking go after this person. And then everybody on the internet goes, yeah, you know what, that's a good idea. Let's go after that person. And then that person eventually comes out and is like, hey, what's happening? And I'm like, this is exactly, it's this herd mentality where it just takes everybody just like, oh yeah, we're going to fucking shit on this person now. And everybody's like, I love this game. Let's do it. It's weird. So I've been really triggered about watching Traitors. Anyway, when I was with, I've known my friend Ashley, which I know she's listening to this because she listens to all my episodes. I didn't realize she was such a faithful. She was like quoting my episodes. I was like, do you listen? She's like, yeah, I'm a good friend. I'm like, wow, okay. Anyway, I've known Ashley since college. She went to LaSalle. I went to Emerson, and we met at Jack Will's, which is a retail store I used to work at. So I was just thinking about all the odd jobs I used to have. My first job was being on a television show. You know, that was actually my first job, which, had I known that it was only going to go downhill from there, when you get a job at 10 years old to work on the biggest kids TV show at the time, that's why I'm a dick. Because from that point on, I was like, oh, people make life seem hard. This is going to be easy. Like, it's only going to go up from here. No, it went down from there. I peaked at 10 and then it went down from there. So after that first job, I become a lifeguard. This is where the pick me started, was becoming a lifeguard, because it's spring break in high school and I decide, hey, you know what I'm going to do with my 1-2 weeks off? I'm going to do lifeguard certification so that I can just make that my personality for the next X amount of years. I could swim. I wasn't a swimmer, but I could swim. So I was like, oh, I'll do lifeguard training. It was fucking brutal. First of all, you do like a written test. Every morning I had to be at the pool at like 5-6 a.m. doing laps with medicine ball, like just absolute pick me behavior. I actually cheated. I probably should never have been certified to be a lifeguard. So our final, like you have to pass all these tests. You know, you do CPR, you do first aid, you do a written test, and then you have to save people. Let me be very clear. You guys know the size of me. I'm a very small person. My lifeguard teacher, this guy was about 220. Okay. 220. Big ass dude. You want me to save him? Sorry, hold on. What? So the final save is, there are different ways that you have to enter the water based on how you fall into the water. If you fall into the water and people suspect that you have a neck injury, you can't fucking cannonball into the pool because you don't want it to ripple and whatever. There's different ways you have to enter the pool. So we're in literally like an Olympic size pool. My 220 teacher goes all the way to the bottom of like 13 feet. And he basically just sits there. And I have to enter the water, go to the bottom of the water, pick him up, bring him up, slip a noodle behind his back, and bring him to the ladder. Bitch, please. I am 16 years old. So it was a pair. So I went in with another guy. And dude, I don't know who you were because you went to a different school, but whoever you are, you were a real one, because I got my teacher out of the water, but then I couldn't get this guy over to the ladder. So when my friend, the partner, was slipping me the noodle, he put his leg like on the noodle to make the guy feel lighter so that I could swim to the ladder. So shout out to that guy. But I was such a dick because I worked that job. And then I remember coming back to high school and being like, oh, you went on a Disney cruise with your family for spring break. That's cute. I was saving fucking lives. And I made that my personality. I still make that my personality. Like anytime we go anywhere, I'm like, don't worry guys, I'm a lifeguard. Like a subpar lifeguard. I live with my boyfriend was a swimmer. He was also a lifeguard, but he was like a legit lifeguard. Like he did it at the beach. So like I don't really flex like that when I'm with him. But for the most part, I'm like, that's really cute, guys. I was saving fucking lives. I worked at a YMCA. Terrible, like summer camp vibes. Not it. Went to a country club because I was like, oh, it'll be better where all the rich people watering hole, where it's not just 8,000 fucking summer camps of kids. No, it was worse because no joke, it was a country club. Dads would come up to me and like slip me a 20 and be like, hey, keep an extra eye on my kid while I go golf. I would take the money. But I'm like, does your kid not know how to swim? Like, I'm not keeping an extra eye on your weird ass shit. And then I lifeguard somewhere else. I don't know. And I did that every summer until college, essentially. College, my first job, I was living freshman year. I was living with a very, very wealthy, like, you want to talk about different tax brackets, different fucking tax brackets, okay? When you grow up, your idea of like poor and rich is defined by the environment around you. So the richest kids, I define that as the richest you could be. And the poorest kids, that's the poorest you could be. And then you go to college and you realize that spectrum is a lot bigger. Yeah, this was like next level money. This woman had next level money. I did not. I had no money. I didn't have a job. So, and she was a little bit older. I don't know, just like went back to college for fun or something ridiculous. So anyway, my dad puts my dad gives me a credit card, debit card, and he puts $1,000 in my bank. I was like, $1,000? This shit's going to last me 4 fucking years. Okay. Not even kidding you. Week 1, my rich ass roommate's like, oh, let's go shopping on Newbury. I'm like, let's go shopping on Newbury. I have $1,000. So we go shopping on Newbury. Now, mind you, I'm $20 here, $20 there. I was teaching girl math before girl math was even a thing. $20 here, $20 there, like just tiny little purchases. I go into a store, my card gets declined. I go, that's weird. I've only spent like $40. So I call my dad. I go, Dad, card's broken. He goes, what do you mean the card's broken? I go, does declined? I don't know. It doesn't work. I'm having an issue. Can you call the bank? He goes, did you spend $1,000? I go, fuck no, I didn't spend $1,000. I spent $20 over here. I'm good. He calls me back. He goes, yeah, you spent $1,000. I could not comprehend how I spent $1,000 because I was spending only $20 at a time. The math wasn't mathing. He goes, listen, I'm going to put $800 in your account. Do not fucking spend it. Got it. What do you think I did? Spent it that day. 800 gone. But again, I didn't understand that I spent $800. We go into one store, Jack Wills, which I hadn't heard of. It's this store from the UK. I guess they dress a lot of like the rugby players. So I go and, you know, my friend's like, the GM there was like, oh, we're hiring if you ladies want a job. And my rich roommate didn't need a job. She was like, oh, she'll apply. And I was like, yeah, I'll apply. So I work at Jack Wills, and that's where I met actually a lot of my great friends to this day, Ashley and my good friend Erica. We both worked there. That job was so great because it was on Newbury Street and I was catering to basically very, very wealthy tourists. It was very humbling. Retail is a pain in the bitch. Taught me a lot, but that was great. Now my next job, I work for Red Bull. Okay. Now it's funny because there is an unwritten rule amongst Red Bull Wings girls that we will not talk about this job. It's like Fight Club. You don't talk about it. And I'm going to do it right now. And any of them that are watching are going to text me and be like, I cannot believe you revealed our secrets. So I start working for Red Bull. The most fucked up part of this is I go online. I don't even know like how I was led to Red Bull, but I go online and I make it past like a round of the interviews. The final round of interviews is essentially this portal where it'll ask you a question and then there's a video component. So it'll be like, what's your favorite Red Bull drink? And then you'll hit record and it'll go 3, 2, 1, and you just go. You get one shot. You record. There's no editing it. There's no like, oh, let me say that again. You just record and then you have that awkward millennial pause while you wait to hit stop recording. So the final question is, why should you work for Red Bull? Why would you make a great person for the Red Bull Wings team? I don't know what I said. I probably said some douchebag shit like I run on caffeine. I love Red Bull sugar free. I remember I opened my mini fridge. I was living on campus at the time. My mini fridge was literally just Red Bull sugar free. And then I had like 35 seconds left and I couldn't, you had to use it. So I go, oh shit. And I'm just sitting there, cause I can't, if I hit stop, it's done. So I'm like, I can also do some fun tricks with my tongue. And then I proceeded to show every trick I could do with my tongue. I could do a shamrock. I could do a hot dog. I could flip it. I could do the wave, all of the tricks. And then I finished and I still had like 10 seconds left. And I just did my awkward millennial pause and I said, okay, and hit stop recording. And I said, I'm either going to get the job or I am not going to get the job. And I got the job. And I'm happy that everybody looking at my application was a fucking creep or had a great sense of humor. Nevertheless, I get the job. So I work as a Red Bull Wings girl. And that is my identity for the next years throughout college. If Red Bull girls are in your city, you ever see the Mini Cooper with the Red Bull can, that's us. Okay. This is where I'm not supposed to be sharing this, but I don't give a fuck because I have a podcast now and I can do these things. So essentially you work these 4-hour shifts, right? And like everybody from every different college worked at Red Bull. So we had girls from Northeastern, BU, Harvard, me at Emerson, that's how I made a lot of my friends. And that's how I also learned just the geography of Boston, because Boston is a pain in the bitch to drive. And that's how I honestly learned that city like the back of my hand, was from this job, because I had to drive everywhere and every street's a one way. If you've ever been to Boston, it's a pain in the fucking ass. So essentially what you're supposed to do on this job is you take your 4 hours, you pick different spots in Boston. Oh, I'm going to go to different campuses. I'm going to go to different events. I'm going to go down Newbury Street. I'm going to go to Fenway. And you fill up the back of the cooler of the car with like 20 cases of Red Bull. You put it in, you see those little lame ass jetpack backpacks. They only fit about 12 cans. You fill up your backpack, you go hand them out to people. And every time you run out of 12 cans, you go back to the van. No one's fucking doing that. No one's fucking doing that. What we would do is we lied and we would drop off cases in the first hour and then chill for the rest of the shift. Oh my God. I also really love Red Bull and really they're such a dream brand for me to work with now in this capacity. And I really hope I don't stick my foot in my mouth here. But honesty is the best policy. So we all lied. We finagled that job very well, because also here's the thing too. Boston, you could be the hottest bitch, the biggest tits. No one gives a fuck. When it comes to nightlife, if it's 10 degrees and you're wearing a bandage dress and no jacket, it doesn't matter who the fuck you are, you're standing in the back of the line. There's no pretty person privilege there's no pretty person privilege. There's no hot chick privilege. There's none of that in Boston. You actually, the hotter you are, the douchebag bouncers probably want to make a point and they make you wait longer. It's like a whole thing, right? It doesn't matter. You literally have to know people to have any pull in the city of Boston. Maybe it's changed. But when I was in college, I also really wasn't as hot as I think I was. So maybe that was just, I wasn't even experiencing pretty girl privilege. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You weren't getting in anywhere. So what we would do is, in order to have a more thriving college experience, we were very selective about who we would go around and pass out these cases to. We'd give them to general managers of the bars that we wanted to go to, the bouncers of the clubs that we wanted to go to, ladies at the nail salon. We were so strategic about how badly we would fuck over this job so that we could have a more thriving experience on the weekends. And yeah, I will never forget one of my favorite bars. We'd give the GM Red Bull all the time. And then Friday night, we'd feel like hot shit because we'd walk and we'd be like, what's up? And he'd be like, yeah, come on, ladies, which that didn't happen. I also wasn't in a sorority. I would never be in a sorority. It just wasn't my vibe. But all of my friends were in a sorority. So I essentially got the benefits of being in a sorority without having to pay money to act like you actually give a fuck about these chicks when they actually all piss you the fuck off. So I felt like I was kind of in a sorority. When you go to school in the South and they're like, hey, if you want to go to and if you want to get invited to anything, you have to be in Greek life. That's kind of how Boston was with connections. And I got nowhere. I wasn't in a sorority, so that didn't help me. So this was the one thing that I had that got me into places. Actually, it got so bad that one time, me and my friend Jess, sorry Jess, I know she listens to this too, we took the Mini Cooper out of the city to my house or my family. There's no reason why we should have been there. I think that day we said like, oh, we're going to go to Boston University for the day. We were in fucking Melrose, Massachusetts. And we parked the car outside my place and we just like watched Bad Girls Club. And then like 2 minutes before we're supposed to leave to go back into the Boston, I lock the Mini Cooper keys in the car. I go, how am I going to explain right now that I am 45 minutes away from the location I said we were for the past 4 hours? So my grandfather, RIP, who owned an auto body, came over and helped you girls out. But you know what that job taught me? That job taught me the importance of lying, which is a skill that is far more important than people want to admit. Lying is integral. It is integral for anything. Lie. You need to be able to learn how to lie in jobs, to your friends, to your family, sometimes to your partner. Lying is integral. And that job taught me how to be a really good fucking liar. I'm going to get so many text messages after that. Like, you fucking dick. Okay, so then I do a semester out in California. I intern at Comedy Central. That doesn't really count. I was literally like grabbing coffee and cutting people's reels and like just being a bitch. Then when I move back out to LA, I start all the way from the bottom. I'm trying to act full time, but I need to pay my bills, and living in LA is very expensive, and I have no money saved up, obviously, because the money that I made at Red Bull, I don't know what I fucking did with that, but it was gone. What was I making? Like $6.25 an hour. So I work at Equinox, which is one of the most humbling jobs I have ever had, because it was in the same building as WME, which is like the biggest agency in the world. And I'm a struggling actor, but you get treated like you're a fucking nobody. But then I had a little bit of this ego where I was like, wait a second, I have done this before. I was an actor. I was on some big sets. Like, I'm not a total fucking piece of shit. But that's how you were treated. And Jeff Goldblum would come in and like drop off his keys, and we'd have to hold them at the front. And like any A-list celebrity would come in. I swear to God, I never saw like one woman actually work out there. They would just come in and just do laps looking for husbands. I was like, good for you guys. So much so that I would talk about it all the time to my roommate, Erica. And I'd be like, oh my God, so crazy. These women just like pay for this really expensive membership. They come in, their tits are hiked up. They're all glam. They like do a lap. They go in the steam room and then they leave. And then she had a friend over. This is not as mean as it sounds. It was actually funny. She put me on, what was Seeking Arrangements? Is that Seeking Arrangements? Like, it's like the sugar baby finding a sugar daddy site. And she just like put a photo of me on, and I woke up and I had like fucking thousands of emails. I was like, who the fuck is emailing me? I'm literally an unemployed broke actor. I'm like, oh my God, maybe I booked that role. No, it was all of these inquiries of like, I would love to be your sugar daddy. $5,000 a month. You did the requirements. You just come on 2 dinner dates. And I was like, whoa, this is a slippery slope. I totally understand. If I didn't have morals, I would do this. And even if I did have morals, I have parents, who would fucking kill me. But I was mortified because so many of the people that were in my messages were my like clients at Equinox. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to go to work and show face. And it was a whole thing. Then I got a job across the street, Ocean Prime. When I switched over to the hospitality restaurant, that was, oh my God, that's a brutal industry. I have much respect for people that work in, that would be hospitality, right? Restaurants and stuff. Is that hospitality? I have so much respect for those people. They do not get the credit that they deserve enough. But I got a job at Ocean Prime, which is across the street. And then when I was told I got the job, I was like, never mind, I'm not taking it. And 2 of my still to this day best friends, Rachel and Mina, I met at Equinox. Rachel was like, oh, one of my buddies is one of the GMs at the Nice Guy, and they're trying to hire somebody. That was the spot in Los Angeles. There's only 19 tables. It is any A-list celebrity that you could ever imagine would go there. That was the watering hole for A-list celebrities. It's H-Wood Group. Then they opened Delilah, and I saw business kind of fall off. I don't know what it's like now, but they own so much LA real estate. But Nice Guy was a fucking moment in history in Los Angeles. So she's like, they're looking to hire a hostess. I just needed to make more money. And I was kind of at a point where I was like, I am willing to work like 4 odd end jobs and any nightlife job would be ideal. Because I would wake up really early, I'd go to acting classes, I would do auditions, I would edit stuff, and then at night would be ideal to work. So I was working like 4 jobs at once, essentially. Like some were night shifts, some were day shifts. I would do really like early mornings at Equinox, late nights at Nice Guy. It was a whole thing. So I go to Nice Guy, and that was probably one of the lowest times in my time in Los Angeles. It was just really toxic. I mean, again, 19 tables. We were getting thousands of calls every week for reservations. People would literally camp outside. Oh my God, I traveled all the way from Dubai. Like, it's my wife's birthday. People would slip you money all the time. And there really was nothing that you could do. There was 19 tables, and we would reserve over half of those for our Rolodex A-list celebrities. So like literally first day, first of all, the environment was just toxic, and it's a lot of really beautiful girls that work there that are also pursuing something else. Oh my God, this is the best job. You get to be around celebrities. It's not. It's when you're trying to like be taken more seriously, and then you're surrounded by all of these people that don't take you seriously, but they're in the industry that you respect. It's a very, very weird dynamic. It made me really bitter. It made me feel really isolated and alone. And I was working just odd hours. I was working like 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. in full makeup, and then having to go home, eat dinner at 2 a.m. and like wake up and do auditions. I was just a really toxic cycle when I was working there. But I remember like out the gate, one of the GMs like dropped me off a fucking iPad, and he was like, memorize everybody on the Rolodex. There was thousands of people on the Rolodex, and it's not just as even like, oh, Kim Kardashian, I know what she looks like. It would be like the CEO of some tech company. I remember one time somebody came up and was like, yeah, table for two. And I was like, I'm so sorry. We don't have anything. And they stormed out and like texted my GM, we don't have any tables. He's like, that's the CEO of blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, it's just some random white dude with a receding hairline. Like, how am I supposed to know? So like, it was intense, but it was interesting because I got to see who tips. And I will tell you what, right now, most celebrities do not know how to fucking tip. So anyway, I worked there, and that was just a very toxic time in my life. And then from there, I went to an even more toxic job. He owned a media. It was just him. And he basically ran all the social accounts for a lot of the biggest like rock and roll spots in LA, a lot of the restaurants. And this was actually my first taste of social media. I ran all of their accounts. So I ran about 15 accounts all at the same time. Their Instagrams, their Facebooks, their like Google, where people would leave reviews. I had to be responding to everything, posting everything. I mean, that was like my first taste at how crazy social media can be. I make no money. I'm trying to be an actor. I need to get out of here. And that was my last job, essentially, before I committed to acting full time. I don't remember really what the shift was, but I will tell you this. I was also in a toxic relationship. I was in a toxic relationship. I was living above my means in the sense that like I couldn't even afford my rent for the most part. I was working these terrible jobs. I was having to drive to fucking Burbank at the drop of a hat to wait in a waiting room for 2 hours, to audition for 15 seconds, to never hear back from them. Like I was just like, you want to talk about cortisol levels? Like I was just going through the ringer. And then I was in a very, very toxic relationship, and we were living together. And I had auditioned for a show called Ambitions months prior to me finding out that I booked it. And I was supposed to go on a trip with my boyfriend at the time, who I was living with, to Mexico. Literally in 2 days, like my bags are packed. And I got a call, hey, you booked the show. You need to be in Atlanta on Wednesday, which was the same day I was supposed to leave for this trip. And it was either earlier that day or it was like 2 days before. It was very, very close to when I got this call. Somebody had hit my car, and I needed to take my car to this auto body that my parents had come out to LA a lot because, again, I was a child actor. So they would come out a lot. They knew the area very well, very well. And when my mom got in a car accident, she took her car to this auto body. And when I remember when she went, she told me, she was like, oh, the guy at the auto body is like very stern, like doesn't talk, doesn't say anything, like wouldn't really say anything to me. And I went and I was crying in the car. I missed like a funeral or something back home. And I remember having this moment of like, I make no money, but I work harder than anybody that I know. I am so tired of living like this. I just want to do what I love, but I have no money. But like I have to stay strong because I have to just keep sticking it out until whatever. Like I was just really going through it. I'm missing funerals for a job I don't have. I'm missing weddings for a job I don't have. I have no money. What do I have to show? And I shake it off and I go to the auto body and I drop off my car and I'm like, hey, my mom said to come see you. Here's the car. And he's like, okay, great. And I walk back out and he comes out and he stops me. He goes, what do you do? I said, what? He's like, what do you do like for work? And I said, well, I'm trying to be an actor. And he goes, I just have to tell you, don't stop. He said, there's something really good coming. He goes, I just feel the need to tell you that, whatever it is, just keep going. And I had chills down my body. And I called my mom and I told her, and she was like, Christina, he doesn't fucking speak. I had seen him multiple times. He never said anything to me or your dad, especially wouldn't initiate a conversation. Then I find out I book Ambitions, and booking that show was more than just finally accomplishing something in the field that I wanted to, but it was something that gave me the confidence, the financial confidence to leave my relationship, the self-confidence to leave my relationship, and just the confidence in my career that I had some sort of validation. And then I was like, great, I'm in acting now. I put in the work, and then COVID hit, and I kind of started from scratch, and we ended up doing content creation. I don't know how I got in that tangent other than the fact that reuniting with people from your past, I feel like most of my friendships, I'm a very, very low maintenance friend. And I've realized at this point in my life, I can only be friends with people that are equally low maintenance. I can't be friends with people that like need me to call them all the time or take offense if I drop off the map. I can't. But all of my friends, the great thing, I mean, even my boyfriend says, he's like, you're so lucky that you have these friends that you won't see for years or talk to really for years. And then you see each other and it's, you would never know. And I think being around Ashley, who's somebody that's just been in different categories of my life and has seen me at different points, it brought out all of this stuff. And I feel like it really made me be present and appreciate how far I've come when I zoom out. Because sometimes you're like, oh, I'm still not where I want to be. But when you zoom out and you see where you started and what I was doing and working a million jobs and failing and, going in and out of friend groups and working for fucking toxic ass people and then getting to here just makes you more appreciative. So I was just really grateful to have had the opportunity to reflect this weekend on what pieces of shit we were in college and all of our crazy stories, and just have a lot of appreciation for where we are now. And also that's just to say, if there's something that you want to do, you'll get a million signs that you shouldn't do it. And sometimes you have to give yourself the sign that you have to do it. I think a lot of times when things don't work out, we are like, okay, that's got to be a sign. No, sometimes it's just testing your resilience and testing how badly you wanted it. You have to be clinically insane to want to be an actor. I turned down real paying salary jobs for a job that I didn't have. Like, I was auditioning. That was my job. I wasn't making any money auditioning. So you have to be a little insane to pursue careers like that. And sometimes because they are so crazy, they'll test you to see how bad you want it. And had I crumbled and been like, I can't do it, then it wasn't meant for me. But I always was able to like mourn my little defeats and still put all the energy into doing it. And I think that's what made me come out the other end. So whatever it is that you're pursuing, I know it's fucking hard. And I know sometimes it doesn't make sense why things are happening, but you just got to stick with it. And you have to be your own cheerleader, because everybody around you, people in your career, the people sometimes in your life, your peers, they might be rooting against you, and you have to be the one that's rooting for yourself. Wow, we started off kind of chaotic and then we got a little wholesome right there. You like that shit? Well, I love you guys so much. Again, I hate to plug, but if you're not following us, hello? If you are not following us on Instagram, life's a joke _pod. I knew that. We will be asking for prompts from here on out. If you guys have anything that you want to know about me, please always feel free to DM or write in. If there's any specific story you want me to elaborate on or talk about, like, it helps when I know what resonates with you guys. And I have a million stories and I just want to know what direction to go in. And then eventually I'll be asking you guys to submit out-of-pocket screenshots or responses or interactions or whatever the fuck. But if you feel inclined to send us a DM and ask for specific information, just don't like ask for my social security number, or do whatever. You can follow us and submit your shit. I love you guys. Winston is here. He's a little sleepy today, but we love you guys. Thank you seriously for all of the love and support. I really am blown away by how many of you subscribe and follow along every week. It means the world to me. And I'm just happy you guys are here. And I love you so much. And I'll see you on Thursday.